Hello. It's Amy. I'm back at it again with an episode of Buddy Banter. It's very special. As you know, dear listeners and audience in general, I do this pseudo-monthly live stream on my YouTube channel. It's the only time I go live because I can't. I'm on I do other live streams and it's exhausting. It's my birthday month, so this is a dictatorship this whole month on my channel. So instead of my guests picking the topic, I picked the topic, and I chose shows that we were obsessed with during our teen years. It did not need to be airing necessarily during your teen years, but that is what you have memories associated with. This is, by design, a nostalgia stream. I want everyone in the chat and in the comments and after this watching, tweet at me, whatever. What are the shows that define your teen years? I asked my mom today. She said Star Trek, the OG. Love you, Mama. And happy Mother's Day once again to all of the mothers. And yes, welcome to this very special birthday buddy banter. Boy, do I have a full panel. So let me just list them off. I've got the links from Lowe's Queer Musings blog. Enunciate. John from John Webster Films / Cinematic Realms, which I co-host. He talks about movies. He likes them a lot. We have Micah from Planetos Podcast and Yogi from Through the Moon Door. Moon Door is 2 words. Also of Troy Talk, which does what, Yogi? Go ahead and do the phrase.
It chronicles the entire discography of Australian pop sensation Troye Sivan.
Yes, Australian pop sensation Troye Sivan. Did not know who he was, and yet I am on the 2nd episode of Troy Talk. And Lo, I know Yogi is going to pressure you soon. So, if that does not happen,
yeah, I'm feeling it like coming in waves north from Yogi's position right now, and hitting me straight in the face.
Those rays, they're strong. I just have to say before we get to anything, this is an official #LinksFire stream technically, because the links is on my channel. There is, if you're watching on YouTube, the LinksFire links, our official mascot, #LinksFire. If you share our content, please use that hashtag. That'd be great. This is by Reflective Rambling, aka Cassie, a good friend of ours. I love that we're being fan arted, Lo, and I have one question about this one, which is Cassie has informed us that those books are indeed gender studies. One of them is Judith Butler. What is the other, Lo?
Oh dear, that's a good question. I mean, if you just ask me, I would say probably something by Sara Ahmed.
Ooh, Sara Ahmed. I like Bell Hooks.
Bell Hooks, yeah. Also good option. Also a very good option. Yeah.
So if you like Lo and me together, which you should, let's see. We have going on 5 episodes together, something like that. And our essays are very academic. It's where we kind of go a little hog wild with using the fact that we're in grad school. So it's very thorough, but we read it to you and discuss it. So you can listen, watch, or read, whatever is your preferred way. So guys and gals and non-binary pals, you know that on this channel, I get the plugs done early because you know how I am. So I'm just going to say what I have coming up, and then we're going to get into it. All right? I made a sticky note. It's my birthday stream. So that's what's happening. Multi-part Dorn series with Alicia Kingston, AK. I'm looking forward to that. I'm trying to get that first episode out in May because I am taking off June. So we are going to talk about Roy in our culture. Very excited for that. That will probably not be a live stream, but that will be on the podcast and on the channel. Also on AK's channel, Alicia Kingston YouTube channel, we discussed the CW show Kung Fu. I'm really into the CW. You're going to really find that out during the stream. And yes, we've talked about the first 3 episodes. I just saw the 5th episode last night, and I can't wait to be back on AK's channel. Also, hey, AK, she's in the chat. Yes, I cannot wait to talk about the next few episodes of the CW Kung Fu with Alicia Kingston. Bleep the Patriarchy. Can I get a bleepy, y'all, from my panel?
Bleep it, y'all.
Bleep it.
Bleep it, y'all.
Thank you. Yes, the last episode, we had Mama Blackfire on, my mother herself. And she talked about being a feminist mom, what it was like growing up in the 60s and 70s. And we talked about some just basic patriarchy bullshit. So that was fun. So please check that out. The next episode is going to be with Cecilia, aka Geeksterelia. Please check her out on Twitter and, of course, her podcast and YouTube channel. She speaks, she's a native speaker Spanish. I speak Mandarin Chinese. And we're going to talk about gender and languages, and especially gender languages like Spanish with L and La, that kind of stuff. That is going to be Wednesday, May 19th, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Unspun Yarn Nessie's channel. Link is in the description. I'm pretty sure I put Nessie's links. If not, I'll put them in later. So I'm taking off June. July, sweet Links Fire content coming at you. I promise. Lo, I know I haven't looked in our Poppy War essay in a while, but I'm returning to that Google Doc, I swear. We are going to do Poppy War, His Dark Materials, and Aswaff, Song of Ice and Fire. We have all of it planned, so it's coming at you. Don't worry. More Dorn with AK as well. So get excited for that. And the Kyoshi novels with Christina. That's right. We are talking Avatar Last Airbender books. So we're starting a book club. So check out the Kyoshi novels because we're going to be talking about it in June or August, so you have time to read it. And oh no, my copy of the Poppy War isn't here. I'll find a time to get up and go get it. But yeah, you should read the Poppy War because Lo and I are only going to talk about the first book, so you don't have to read the second or the third. Like I said, it's literally behind me in a box because I still haven't unpacked.
I was actually going to read it, Amy, but since I can't actually see it on this occasion,
I know.
I've lost all
if you're
interest
interested
now.
in the sequel, I have a signed copy that's a hardback.
Nope, not good enough. It's got to be the original.
Well, I'll
Sorry.
get a Poppy War at some point.
I'm not going to read it now.
I got a lot of stuff coming up on my channel. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment. Do all the things. Lo, tell them who you are. Tell them what you've got coming up. And what is the Buddy Banter episode we did? And what did you take away from that experience?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Loaded Links. My pronouns are they, them. I have a blog, loadedlinks.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at loadedlinks with underscores between all the words. I write a lot about feminism and sci-fi science fiction, and intersectional feminism really. So I discuss gender, sexuality, race, class, disability, etc. I've taken a short-ish break at the moment. That wasn't exactly planned, but I just got overwhelmed with real-life stuff that I gotta write out. But I'll be back soon, and I'm planning on writing a bit about social class in ASWAF. And then I'm also working on that Poppy War essay with Amy. And I have another project coming up soonish that I don't think I'm allowed to officially reveal, but get hyped.
Sounds exciting. I'm already hyped. Whatever it is, I'm here.
Yeah, and then when I was on Amy's channel and Banter, we talked about why we gotta bring in politics into fiction. And that was really fun.
And particularly and we had fantasy fiction as well.
Fantasy fiction, especially.
Too, actually, I think.
Yeah, we talked a bit about The Mandalorian because the stuff was going on.
Separating the art from the artist is a really hot topic like right now. So Lo and I also covered that. Yeah, rolling, stop being an asshole. Go ahead, Lo.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I had to go through her tweets a while back for thesis reasons, and that sucked. Yes, there is a TARDIS on my shirt, Lady Leaf. It's. I had a poll on Twitter.
Okay, Steven taught me how to do this, I think, to make it one person. No? I have no idea what I just did.
Okay. Well, it's a TARDIS on my shirt, at least. I asked the people if they wanted me to wear my TARDIS.
Got it, Glow. Got it. Woo, yes, there we go.
My TARDIS shirt or my SKAM shirt. And the people chose the TARDIS shirt. I'm also drinking from my Sanri mug. I know Sanri is in the chat. It's the Night Gathers and Now My Watch Begins mug. Very appropriate to have the sweet caffeine in a nice watch mug.
And yeah, as you notice in the Links Fire art too, there is a cup of tea on top of that. I had some black tea in my Valarion Sanri mug today, and that's the only thing keeping me awake. Lo, are you good? Should I move on, or did you have more to say for this first question? J-Dubs, John Webster, at John Webster Film on YouTube and Cinematic Realms on any podcast platform that you like in your ear. J-Dubs, who are you? What do you have coming up? What do we do for Buddy Banter?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that it's very nice to meet you all. I'm honored to be on a stream. Sorry. What did you ask me? Buddy Banter. Yeah, we did together the talk about just the media we consume and gender stereotypes and basically why I love Pride and Prejudice so much.
It was a reason to talk about costume dramas. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, you said it all. I have a YouTube channel, John Webster Film, and I do Cinematic Realms, which you host with me, which is also a podcast. And yeah, we just did a talk about X2, X-Men United, which I think we both agree was one of our best episodes.
X2, stupid subtitle that no one remembers. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that with Kelly and Jenna. Had a great time. And
please watch / listen to that. That actually might be my favorite episode we've ever done so far. I don't know. The Pan's Labyrinth one is close. I also really liked Hero with you and Steven.
Yeah.
And we had great X fans on. My best gal Jenna and Kelly, the jaded redhead. I had a blast with that one.
And we got to talk about how Wolverine should not be taking long walks in the snow.
That kid was not wearing shoes. Get him in the jet. It's cold. Have you no decency, sir?
And next week, or this week, we're going to be talking about The Little Mermaid with Bronze Terrace and Kate.
Yes.
So yeah, make sure you guys tune in for that, or you can just listen to the podcast when it comes out.
Cinematic Realms, all podcast platforms. Awesome. Yay, Micah. Introduce yourself.
Hi.
What do you got coming up? And talk about that Buddy Banter there.
Hello, everyone. I'm Micah. I am a prominent member in the Songways and Fire
A distinguished figure, I would say.
A little bit. I'm normally a co-host of the Planetos podcast, which we have, it's like pseudo-ish episodes come out every now and then,
And they're always
recently
bangers.
I was this past week I was on an episode on the Nauticast podcast because Jeff from the Nauticast is away for work related reasons. So Emmett is having guests on every week, and he had me on last week to talk about our favorite childhood fantasy series, Redwall. It's available to the public today. I don't have the link right now, but if you're to look up Nauticast podcast on Twitter, it's through there, and it's available on Podbean, Spotify, and iTunes. And I'd love it if everyone gave it a listen, because we had a great time listening to that. It was awesome. As for coming up, God damn it.
That's all I think about when you say it. 'Cause after all, you're my red wall. Look, it works, and I'm sorry.
It's different from Wonderwall, but I know which characters would.
It makes me more interested to read it, so don't worry, Mike.
Yeah. So, if you can guess, the picture on my profile picture on YouTube and on Discord is from a character of Redwall. And
the mouse thing with the sword?
The mouse thing with the sword. He's a character from Redwall. That's what Redwall's about.
It's on the list, Micah, I swear. It's on my phone on the list. Yeah. It is. It's just kind of at the bottom. I'm sorry.
As for, so on Buddy Banter, I was with Amy. We were talking about DC Comics. On our Buddy Banter, we discussed like the shows we used to watch, the movies that we used to watch, the shows and movies we avoided. And it was a great time. Had a blast. And I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, DC on the TV was the tagline. One of my better
DC
titles, because I'm not great with titles. Yogi, same stuff?
Hello.
Hey.
I am Yogi of the Broken Audio, and
the clicking sound. I'm sorry, buddy. We
it's
tried.
never going to go away. But actually, while we were doing our Buddy Banter on the Kung Fu Panda movies, for some reason it wasn't there, but now it came back. So, who knows? But yeah, I'm Yogi. You've pretty much already said everything. I host the Through the Moon Door podcast, which has been kind of on ice lately because I've been busy. I also host the Troye Sivan podcast, which is also similarly on ice for the same reasons. But I've had about pretty much everyone on this panel has been on Through the Moon Door before, except for John, because he hates me.
He's a busy man.
Yeah, it's great. It's great episodes, great stuff. Everyone check it out. The
If you have Orientalism on your bingo card, that's what we talked about, Yogi and I.
That's true,
on
yeah,
Through the
that's
Moon
true.
Door. I don't know if
And,
Potter put that on the bingo card, but there you go.
he better. And then speaking of the Buddy Banter episode on Kung Fu Panda, actually today, somewhat coincidentally, someone on Twitter with the great username of Corliss Valerian is Black,
Is
deal
Black,
with
deal
it.
with it. Yeah. I actually DM'd I actually DM'd them and was like, thank you. To that person, wait, how do I hold on.
The Twitter ad is @Conqueror's Crown, so I think we might have ourselves a Targaryen loyalist. But they tweeted about our episode on Kung Fu Panda. Apparently, they're quite big fans. They live tweeted their thoughts, and it was very interesting to read what someone is thinking of my ramblings. And yeah, I'm glad that they enjoyed it, and I hope to do a lot more Kung Fu Panda content in the future, definitely.
I actually really enjoyed that, and I'm glad that
series.
someone gleaned onto it because I think that was really fun, even though I overslept. I'm trying to use this air horn app. I'm sorry, I know it looks like I'm distracted, but I want the burp 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 bow that Kelly uses.
Was that noise I just heard that sounded like?
I don't know. My phone is being. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's me. So hi,
No
everyone.
wonder this is a free app. It doesn't work.
I can't see
All
the
right.
chat, but I'm sure everyone I know is there. So hi.
Yes. So if you're a Kung Fu Panda fan, did an episode with Yogi about it. We talked about all 3 movies, so don't worry, all of the Kung Fu Panda goodness. All right, y'all. We made lists about shows that defined our teen years. Lo, your list. I'm finding right now the banner that I made. There we go. Lo, go ahead and read those off and just go.
Okay.
Whichever
so
one I leave you to your own devices.
Wow. Okay. Amy said I had to pick 3, and obviously I couldn't just do that. So, but the 3 I put on the top was Glee, then Doctor Who, then Teen Wolf, and then as honorable mentions I have SKAM and Torchwood. I mean, Torchwood, Doctor Who, they're in the same universe, so it's kind of almost the same. But the reason that SKAM got put on the honorable mentions list instead of the main thing is that I was like barely a teenager when I got obsessed with that. I was like 18, 19. But it's a really interesting teenage show. And I wanted to talk a bit about that, even if it wasn't completely defining. But I suppose I can start talking about that.
Yeah, the first thing also that caught my eye was the woman who appears to be Muslim. So are they good? How was the representation in this, Lo?
Okay, so first, just the premise of the show.
Yes.
SKAM is a Norwegian show. It's both a TV show and a web show. And SKAM, the name means shame. And it's a show that premiered in 2015, I want to say. I should have looked that up. And the premise of the show is really interesting. So every season is from a different person's point of view. The first season, for instance, is from Eva. She's the redhead in that picture that we showed. And you see the entire season from her point of view. So every clip, every scene is from her point of view. And the cool thing about the show was that they posted the clips online, like when they happened. So if Eva had lunch at noon, then the clip would be posted on the website at noon. Or if she was doing homework at 8:15 p.m., then you got a clip of that. And then between the clips, they posted chats and like Instagram posts and stuff from the different characters. So you might get a chat from a character say, "Oh, sorry, I can't make the party on Friday, but oh shit, I forgot to buy alcohol for the party. Can you get me some?" or whatever. So it was a really like immersive show, and then they posted like the whole episode on Fridays and like combined all the clips then. So you were like constantly sitting, updating the website, going like, okay, is there a new clip? Is there a new clip? Is there a new clip? And then the next season, you got the season from the point of view of another character. And they dealt with a lot of really important and interesting issues in the show as well. Like female friendships, mental health, religion. There was a lot of good LGBTQ representation. It was the first time I saw someone on TV who was openly pansexual, for instance. And yes, you asked about the Muslim girl, that's Sana, and she gets her own season. I know there were some complaints about the season, but overall, I think it's one of the absolute best representations of a Muslim girl in Western TV, I would say. And the actress is Muslim herself, is hijabi herself, which is good, in my opinion.
Yes, definitely.
And she had at least all of the actors, I think, had a lot of input in the script, and the writers checked with them because they were teenagers actual teenagers at the time. So they were like, okay, would you say that? Would someone say that? Would someone act this way? And they also, before they started the show, they did like a survey and interviews with Norwegian teenagers about what they would want to see represented in a TV show, and what like struggles they had in their life, and did a lot of in-depth interviews with people. So that's where there's a lot of focus on like female friendship and mental health, and kids struggling with like pressure in school about grades, and there's mental health stuff, and there's parents not being the best parents.
I have to watch this because it sounds a lot like Norwegian Degrassi. So
kind of, I think it's probably like the most realistic.
John,
TV
you're gonna
show
hear
I've
Degrassi
seen.
a lot. Get ready. Whatever.
And also it's like
Sorry,
a
I
lot of.
have the mute button ready.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but also I just really liked it because, as you can probably tell by the other shows a lot of the like teen shows, high school shows I watched was like American shows or maybe UK shows, but this was Norwegian and I'm Swedish. So it was a lot more close to home, and also I understand Norwegian.
Low,
I understand like
that,
80%.
Like, humble, like that bilingual humble brag, trilingual humble brag.
I mean, I don't even know, but I mean,
That's
Norwegian.
So European, I love it. As an
Norwegian
American, I appreciate
is like
that so
extreme.
much.
Norwegian is like very close
Yogi's
to
definitely
Swedish.
bilingual as well.
I'm
But
like
are you trilingual?
I'm quadrilingual. I speak French, Spanish, English, and German.
I love
sweet.
all of this humble bragging.
Swedish,
Thank you.
English, Spanish. I understand Norwegian and
Dios
Danish.
mío. Wow.
I know a few words in Finnish and I know some French, so I don't know what that amounted to.
You're so talented, Lo.
Thank you. But yeah.
Do you mind if
so-
we Doctor Who, Lo?
We can Doctor Who.
Thank you, because I asked you who was your doctor, and I said, I'm a fan of that David Tennant guy as doctor, because that was my doctor, really. And I was glad that you agreed, because I was already kind of downloading pictures of him. So, yay. 10th doctor. Holy crap.
Yes.
I have a friend, Ning, and I kind of wasn't into the show, and she sat me down and made me just watch the David Tennant episodes, and I was like, I'm in. I'm so in.
Yeah, I keep trying to get into the show, starting with Christopher Eccleston's run, but I'm just. It's not that I don't enjoy it. I just haven't gotten past like the first couple episodes of that. But people tell me maybe
I've seen the
move
first.
a little further ahead.
I've seen the first 10 Doctors, and sometimes it depends on the Doctor you see, depending on how much you like Doctor Who.
I will say, but having just watched Good Omens, like I'd be really excited to watch David Tennant's.
David Tennant's Doctor is great.
Sanri's still pondering over which is her Doctor, and I get that. It's tough, and it took me a lot of reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
I know Chloe's in the chat, and I'm pretty sure that Matt Smith is her favorite, so she's probably very upset with us right now.
That's actually my second favorite.
Matt Smith was really great.
That's my second favorite.
Really good
I'm sorry that it doesn't beat. I'm sorry. It's just personal preference.
I think Matt Smith has some episodes that are better than some of David Tennant's best episodes. And sorry.
I love how Chloe's choices are 4, 7, 11. It makes in 7-Eleven. I'm like, there's a Chinese rap song called 7-Eleven that's literally just about going to 7-Eleven high and getting a lot of food. So, and now I have that in my head. Thank you, Chloe.
Yeah,
Kelly, I hope you know you're guest starring on Cinematic Realms this weekend. Did you know? So get ready for that. Sorry, I'm just messing with her now.
Yeah, Kelly's also on 7 of my upcoming episodes.
I'm glad to see that Chloe supports me in what I said about the episodes.
The Doctor.
I sadly have not seen Doctor Who. I'm kind of like
Boo.
John, but with most TV shows. I give up on like 90% of TV shows after like 2 episodes. I don't know why.
This is why I'm doing this episode.
Now.
15 seasons of Supernatural, 14 seasons of Degrassi Next Generation. I am a show girl. I was meant for
can't do it.
And that's why I'm having this stream, because I talk about a lot of movies with J-Dubs, but I'm like, but show dough? So, and then he's like, can we talk about animated Star Wars? I'm like, okay, fine. No, you have Christina on and talk about animated Star Wars.
I mean, any show that has more than like 5 seasons, I'm already like, I can't make that commitment.
You gotta be in for the long haul.
But this is why I have a channel
8 seasons of Supernatural. I had to keep going.
This is why I have a channel talking about movies. 2-3 hours tops, you're done.
No,
That's true.
15 seasons of character development, John.
I rarely give up on movies, but I've given up on a lot of TV shows.
I've given up on more movies than TV shows.
What was Supernatural 15 seasons of character development, though?
It was
true. I gave up after 7, 8.
7 through 10 is rough. 12 through 14, great. 15, go suck a dick, CW. I'm sorry. That was really not nice to say.
Anyway, Lo's thoughts on Doctor Who, though.
My thoughts on Doctor Who.
I'm with Anna. I started when I was watching Supernatural. It was season 1. It was airing, so we were OG Supernatural fans. So you just stick with it if you've been there since, like Kung Fu. No matter how many seasons on the CW, The Flash on CW just got renewed for its 8th season. Was there from season 1. Didn't like Arrow, even though it's the Arrowverse.
Yeah,
I have so many CW opinions. I'm sorry
about the Arrowverse. Yeah, no, but I don't know. Like when I was a teenager, I really started getting into a lot of sci-fi in general, and like fantasy. And Doctor Who was just something that people were talking about on the internet, and I was like, I'll give it a shot.
It's a really quirky show, and I like quirky shows. The Daleks,
yeah, it's very quirky.
Freaking here for it.
Fun space travel, and often like interesting
and timey-wimey stuff.
Timey-wimey stuff, exactly. And there's like usually kind of interesting politics going on as well, and just fun stuff.
And some of their time travel stuff, the costuming is done really well, actually.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Unfortunately, as we talked before we started recording, it turns out some of the actors sucked in real life.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Stop that.
So that sucks. But the show is good otherwise.
I think it's a show that's worth your time. And if you're not sure about ask people who their favorite doctors are, and then watch that and see what you think. Low, we have people in the chat saying 4. Lo and I are talking about 10, 11. I've seen. So there's a lot of favorite doctors that your friends can tell you about, and then you can watch it. And you can read the wiki to kind of understand who the doctor is and what he, she, or they is doing, So that's cool. And that's the thing, is that the doctor basically reincarnates, so he can be a black man or a queer woman or a banana slug. Anyway, I don't think the doctor would want to do that. Also, I'm going to just go ahead and pop up that Samri link. Please check it out. Samri's threadless. My Targaryen. Oh, I was going to bring my Targaryen jacket, but
I got my Night's Watch shirt on today.
Yeah,
representing the merch.
I'm looking at my mugs, but they're all the way over there. All right. Check out Samri. Yeah, Leaf's got her doctors 3, 4, 5, 10, 11. There's a lot of them. So I recommend Doctor Who. Lo, any more thing about Doctor Who before we go on to Glee?
No, not
you
really.
Ready to do some singing, Lo?
Yes.
It's a musical high school show. I mean, Glee. How could you not want to sing along and have fun? And I want to say also there was a recent tragedy in the Glee the Glee class cast, and our thoughts and condolences definitely. Anyway, if you're a Glee fan, you know what we're talking about. It's very, very sad. Lo, I remember watching this, and I remember discussing it with my friend at the time. Well, he's still my friend. He's in Texas now. Hi, Nishan. So Nishan, he loved Glee. So I watched it for him, and I ended up liking it. So yay. Shout out, Nishan. So Chad, if you have Glee thoughts, feel free to share them. Any other Glee watchers on the panel other than me and Lo? Micah's like, what?
Yes.
Yogi raises hands. All right, Yogi, actually, this is a matriarchy, but it's also a dictatorship because it's my birthday stream. So Yogi, go ahead. Glee thoughts.
I watched Glee. So I watched, obviously, because these are teenage shows. So early teenage years meant I watched all my stuff in German, on German dubbed television. So I didn't get the authentic Glee experience until I rewatched some of it when I was older. But
Yogi, that's your account, right? Boo.
It is my account. It's true. There's so much sad associated with the Glee cast.
Because you bring me down, man. I love you.
It's true. I remember watching Glee. It was probably 90% just because it had Chris Colfer in it, and I may or may not have as a crush on him. So I kind of just watched it for that. Well, at the time, I was just like, I just sort of like shame watched it because it was a musical show about teenagers, so it wasn't something that you were supposed to like. So and it was on at like 8 or 9 p.m. So I watched it in like my grandma's basement at night with a really low volume and all the lights out.
If you have this on your bingo card, toxic masculinity right there that you couldn't watch Glee out in the open, Yogi. Just saying. I
watched a lot of stuff, and my grandma had this like room where my aunt used to have her nursery, and it was just a TV, and I watched a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have watched on that television. I saw The Silence of the Lambs for the first time when it was on at midnight on German television, and I watched it. And
Not one of my favorite horror movies, but I have seen it multiple times.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I love Glee.
I have other favorites, I'll put it that way.
It is. Now that I'm older, there's a lot of stuff about it that I found frustrating. But question.
I had just a question. How is German dubbing?
I mean, usually it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But like when you have a show where they sing a lot, it's very strange that they just switch into a completely different voice and start singing in English all the time.
Oh, so the songs were in English.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So it was a German high school, but they were required to sing in English, like it was in the student handbook.
And they didn't really try to make it like it's a German high school. They just talked in German, but it was still like an American high school.
This is why I'm a fan of subbing.
It's very strange.
Just if you're vision impaired, I get it. You would prefer the dub, but if you're able to read the watch subtitle everything.
The thing is,
forever.
like
subtitles now.
Is like
subtitles forever.
The norm here. The only thing they dub is like children's movie, like Disney stuff, like Frozen or something. So nothing else is dubbed. So I just I got used to reading subtitles when I was like 10 or something, probably. And after, when in my later teenage years, I just had the subtitles in English instead, because it was too confusing to read something in one language and understand what they were saying in my head as well.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much once I was very fluent in English at a pretty early age. So as soon as I transitioned from watching stuff on my grandma's old TV in the basement to not the basement, the attic.
Is that where you also watch Kung Fu Panda?
No, that was a different attic.
Oh, okay.
That was like a utility closet where I watched Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, and Kate has a great point in the chat that, you know, she watched the first 3 seasons, but she definitely still has the songs on her Apple Music. I'm kind of the same way, is that like the songs in certain moments really stuck for me. So I don't remember certainly all the details. I'm not necessarily in the Glee fandom, but I definitely remember moments and songs and feelings, which shows that it stuck with me. Because I watch a lot of shows.
It's just High School Musical, but they sing whatever's like popular in the charts at the moment.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
it's weird that the wording is weird. The first 3 seasons, like there's more. As far as I'm aware, there are only 3 seasons of Glee, which are the 3 seasons of Glee. There's no 4th season of Glee. But
I give this stamp of approval, Alicia Kingston, saying that
Yeah.
there are a lot of songs that are, you know, covers on Glee that she likes better than the originals. I absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, don't you worry, otakus and weeaboos. We're going to talk about anime, so stay tuned. Fullmetal Alchemist is on the list. So is Naruto, and just general anime goodness. Me and Micah, we're coming at you. Don't worry.
Yeah. I just also wanted to say that at the same time I was getting into Glee, I also was getting into Star Kid, if anyone knows that, which is Darren Criss, who plays Blaine in Glee. That was sort of where he first got famous. They started as a group of college friends in the US doing like parody musicals of stuff. Their most famous one is a Harry Potter musical and a Harry Potter sequel and a Harry Potter senior year. So Darren Criss plays Harry Potter in that one. So I was like in a big like Tumblr fandom thingy with like Glee and Star Kid and Harry Potter.
Nice.
At the same time. So yeah, that.
Sorry to move
I still
on.
like
y'all.
him, by the way.
Final Glee thoughts.
Good representation for his time, but if you start looking a bit more critically at
A
it,
bit more closely.
it's got some weird stuff in there.
things fall apart.
Yep.
Glee, do you remember that
with you on
moment
that,
when the teacher sang, what's that song? Is it Blurred Lines?
Oh,
And it was
no.
all like underage
I don't want to
cheerleading children dancing to it.
This is an official new Amy
Sounds like I
Blackfire
should
rule.
watch
You do
Glee
not
just
mention
to
blurred
see what
lines
you're
on this
talking
channel
about.
or this podcast.
I mean, that
Black
scene
Wings
is just,
and Hammer
it's so much.
No blurred
Hold up.
lines.
I'm gonna have to look
Consent
that
is a
up later.
thing. I can't even. Okay, Micah,
Okay.
I'm coming at you. Tell everyone
All right.
your shows and let's get this started.
So-
We got some animation in here. Let's go.
We've got a lot of animation in here. I watched that a lot. If you could, all of them are animation.
I'm here for it.
So my list goes the Justice League animated series, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Of course, we had to have it in here somewhere. Fullmetal Alchemist, and honorable mention goes to Transformers.
Finally, something I've seen.
Yeah, Yogi is also going to be here for that Outlaw stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yogi has been on my channel to talk about the Air Nation in Avatar: Last Airbender. Please check that out. Adding me Blackfire. Go ahead, Micah.
I still haven't
So,
seen
the
Avatar.
honorable-
I'm mad at you. Go ahead, Micah.
So Transformers, if you don't somehow know what Transformers is, it's about a bunch of gigantic robots from space that fight other gigantic robots from space. Humans are sometimes involved. Generally, it's just a bunch of animated TV shows where all of these guys fight each other, essentially. They can transform into cars. It's really cool. They sold a lot of toys, which was like the main point, was to sell toys, but they were really, really popular toys. I really enjoyed the cartoons for Transformers of their various canons. Sorry about that.
You're good. Had a card up. Whoop.
Yeah. So yeah, Transformers was great. It was a lot of fun, but it's not in my top 3. My top 3 goes like this. So one of my favorite anime shows, because I've seen quite a few anime, not like a huge ton, but I've seen a lot of the good ones. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. There's 2 different ones. There's Fullmetal Alchemist from 2003, and then there's Brotherhood, which was a remake that would follow more closely to the manga. Brotherhood is about 2 brothers who have had their bodies changed drastically after a alchemy transmutation went horribly wrong.
There's a law of equal exchange. You have to give something to get something in alchemy. And so they had to give up. The younger brother gave up his body. Therefore, his soul is in this awesome metal Tin Man thing. And then Ed, the short blonde kid, he had to give up his arm. So he has a mechanical arm. It's kind of badass and very steampunk, right, Micah?
Yes, it is. It is incredibly badass. And yeah, a little steampunk here and there. It's got a lot
Never
of...
a little Fullmetal Alchemist is hella steampunk.
It's one of the most popular anime that was also... the manga was written by a woman. Les Gasp. Which means this is actually one of the rare cases where there is very little amount of fan service in anime, which is something that bugs me a lot when the fan service becomes so overly blatant.
Or in High School Host Club. Pardon me. Wow,
Sorry.
I've just got this terrible cold. Go ahead.
Agreed with Sanrixian in the chat. I would also die for Roy Mustang.
Oh, Sanri. Already had this ready to go.
There's a reason his superpower is fire. That's all I'm telling you.
I had such a animated crush on this on Roy.
It makes sense. I mean, you're showing a picture of when he content warning goes a little bit over the edge, but past that. But yes, this anime is written, or the manga the anime is based on is written by a woman, and therefore you get. I mean, it's not just because of that, but you get a lot of really well done female characters in this anime, like Riza Hawkeye, Olivia Mira Armstrong, Winry Rock Bell, Pinako Rock Bell. I could go on.
Could go on.
I could. Izumi Curtis. All of the women in this show are really awesome, which is something I was struggling to find in my anime watches. I'd watched Fairy Tail, and it wasn't good. Sword Art Online was just overly sexist. There's so many. So
you're younger than me, Micah. So when you were growing up, were you mostly watching Brotherhood? Because I was mostly watching OG, the anime. But like you said, Brotherhood is closer to manga. I got you.
I saw OG first, and then as Brotherhood was coming out,
what about the movies? What about the movies?
What movies? There are movies.
Jade, I'm talking about social media. I own the full Metal Alchemist.
Wait. Are we really going to gloss over that high-pitched squeal?
It's my birthday stream, and I'm excited, John.
Micah, do you maybe not like the movies?
I want more of that.
The movies are okay.
I didn't sleep last night because I was so excited for this stream. I've been awake for 24 hours. Because I was so excited.
I'm not even kidding for my bit. The movies are fine. The shows are where it's at.
Okay, look. Fullmetal Alchemist shows, manga, everything. The art is brilliant. The storytelling is great.
Yeah.
It has a very compelling brotherhood story.
Watch it.
Just watch it. I love Fullmetal Alchemist, even if you think you're not an animation person.
It's just a really good show.
But
speaking of really good shows,
can we pressure John into watching Avatar: The Last Airbender now?
Yes, we can.
Yogi can also join in this public shaming of Black
Mind of a
Avatar fans on this stream. If you think we're talking about the blue people, basically, I'm mad. Last Airbender is the only Avatar.
So Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Well, unless you're talking about Krishna, who's an avatar of Vishnu in Hindu mythology, that's the only other Avatar I accept.
That's the only blue Avatar.
Avatar was Pocahontas with blue people. I'm not here for it.
Or Dances with Wolves with blue people.
I see you.
Thank you. I feel validated. Thank you.
So Avatar:
Humans
The Last Airbender
bad,
is
aliens good.
So Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I have can I go on a 30-second tangent right here?
Yes, Yogi.
James Cameron said that one of his principal inspirations for Avatar was Princess Mononoke, and I'm like, you watched that movie and did not understand what it was about, at all. If
Yeah,
you thought
that's
that it
not
was
at
an
all.
inspiration for Avatar.
That's not thematically. No.
No.
We're gonna talk about
Avatar
Princess
really
Mononoke
isn't.
soon on Cinematic Realms.
I just wanted to get that out there.
So Avatar: The Last Airbender. What else
Yes.
is there to really say? It is one of the best shows ever put.
And one of the most iconic
Screens.
openings ever. With
And one of the most iconic openings,
with
had really
Song
iconic
Dynasty
characters.
bronze script in the
Handled
background.
really dark themes that somehow got past Nickelodeon. But no, you
Genocide.
can't show death.
Yeah.
You can
Hey,
show people.
I mean, Jet, like he died, even though we didn't see it. He
You know, it was really unclear.
died.
they can show people
Johnson
being.
not understanding these
They can show
jokes.
people
I know,
bloodbending
he'll
to
get it
control
eventually.
other people's movements in a really jerky, uncomfortable manner. But you can't show this guy die.
Yeah, they can have. They
And
can, and they can interact like Tai Chi, Wushu, Kung Fu, like all the things together, and they can put like the detail in the show. I've done 4 episodes on it. Please check them out. One, I literally was just me talking at the camera for 45 minutes about the use of Chinese language in the show. It is one of the best Western adaptations of the Chinese language, and it's amazing animation. And guys, gals, non-binary pals, can please just every moment is
Beautiful.
really iconic in Avatar: The Last Airbender. But I talked about this a lot in my Zuko character study. The part where Aang and Zuko go to find the origins of firebending is actually Christina, aka Lady Triple, has an artwork of this picture. If you're watching YouTube, where the Zuko and Aang are standing back to back and looking up at the original fire breathed out by Ron and Shao, 2 mother dragons.
The show greatly impacted me as I watched it when it came out.
It changed my life.
Like the Zuko alone episode, like severely impacted. Like when I'm like writing and I look back at how I used to write, Zuko alone is something that's just like just kind of unwrapped a lot of themes in my head. And it's I would say it is the best animation television series ever made.
It also has one of the best finales ever. I talked about that with Hack's Dogma.
It has one of the best finales.
The fan base
It's got-
is so forgiving of the finale that never happens.
It's got so
Not in Supernatural,
it's got,
not in Game of Thrones, except for John
Yeah.
and Jared, who exist.
there are a lot of people who like the Game of Thrones finale,
There are.
but
There are.
not on
They
the
are
stream
kind
though.
of a minority in some ways.
We're not talking about that here, though. We're
We're
talking
I mean,
not
it
talking
wasn't
about
like it's not even controversial. Like
Avatar:
it's
The
just
Airbender
pretty
does not have a
universally
controversial
beloved.
final ending and season and everything,
Yeah,
and it's very
after,
strange, and I love it.
There's no real low point in Avatar: The Last Airbender after the season 1 finale. There just isn't. There's a couple episodes that just aren't as best as the other best episodes, but that's it. The show
Little
just-
soldier boy, gonna
I mean,
make you
don't-
cry.
Okay,
Don't
no,
worry,
we don't need tears. We don't need to cry. That's fine.
Don't worry. I promise I'll watch Avatar before George releases the last Game of Thrones book.
It's 3 seasons.
Oh.
You're asking me to watch so many seasons of Clone Wars, John. I'm asking 3 seasons.
I'm not asking anymore. I've moved on. I got other people to talk about
All
it
right.
with, Amy.
So the third, another one of my favorite shows is, of course, the
Sorry, I was just gonna put up some more. Just Zuko saying that's rough, buddy. I'm sorry.
okay.
It's rough. Go ahead, Micah.
So Justice League the Animated Series is another one that I just really love because I'm just a big superhero fan, and DC Comics is ish my favorite.
It's me too.
Is ish. Justice League the Animated Series was just this really fun, really well done and well written story of all these superheroes plus Aquaman. Sometimes I'm not sure why he's in the promo there. He's only in like 5 episodes.
Well,
I
hey,
like
those-
Jason
are those-
Momoa's portrayal.
Are those action figures?
Yeah, those are action figures.
I just had a thing that looked cool. I was like, okay, I got that. That's better. It was hard to find good quality because of the older animation. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I
Justice
got
League
lazy on
Animated
some of the
was
pictures. I apologize.
Loads of fun. Had really awesome characters because all of them were great characters, and they all interacted really well, and they all had really good arcs. And
Yeah,
it was just,
that was in reference
I've
to
pretty
Last
much
Airbender,
exhausted all my
obviously.
thoughts on the Justice League Animated Series in the DC TV stream with Amy
Yes,
earlier.
we talked
so,
a lot about it, but I will say it's so iconic with the Watchtower and Batman, and then you've got Wonder Woman leading expeditions.
It's basically cemented who the Justice League is in people's minds, because you'll always have.
Did you watch Unlimited as well, Mike? I think we remember talking.
Of course I did.
About that. Yeah,
of course I did.
Yeah,
of course.
That's
that has the best joke in the whole series.
It's and the one episode, and we talked about this on our buddy banter, but the episode where the Flash basically saves everyone's butt. Like literally all of the Justice League was dead, except the Flash did what he did best, and he ran. Run, Barry, run! He was actually Kid Flash. He was the other one, not Barry Allen.
He wasn't Kid Flash.
Wally West.
He was
right?
Yeah, he was Wally West, who is
Run, Wally, run, whatever. That's Kid Flash, not Flash. What? I would prefer Barry Allen.
Yeah,
but they have older Barry Allen, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then the old guy from the 40s who has like the World War II looking helmet thing.
Yeah.
Like super retro Flash.
Yeah. I even remember all the DC Comics characters as well, because I am just like that. And I just remember character names if I watch something enough or read it enough.
And the Black Green Lantern is also, I think, both of our canon Green Lanterns.
Yeah,
right?
John Stewart, he's the best. And he should have been in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah. I do want to say, like, I really should watch Justice League because, from what I understand, wasn't it a sequel series like following in the line of like Batman the Animated Series?
Kind of, yeah. You had Superman and Batman running for a while.
That was a great time for DC on the TV. I love it.
It was a great time.
Animated.
You don't necessarily have to see those first, but they do provide a lot of context beforehand.
Yeah, but
like
But Batman the Animated Series is like my favorite animated show from that. That wasn't quite my teen years. That was before, but I love that show.
It was so good. Yeah. Jon Stewart was supposed to be in the Snyder Cut, but they made Snyder cut it out. And I'm just like,
look, I'm glad that we had Cyborg as the central character, but guess what? You can have 2 black characters. That's the secret. I know Lois. What?
That's crazy.
Have 2.
Even though, regardless of who they chose to have for that,
also have a shit ton of women too.
Even though they have like a huge glaring plot hole with whoever character they would have on there, I would have picked Jon Stewart kind of a little bit over the Martian Manhunter, because Martian Manhunter's identity could still be secret throughout that time, but that's a whole other deal. But they should have had Jon Stewart, frankly.
Frankly, I agree, sir.
This is what comes from me not knowing DC Comics, is I'm just picturing, Comedy Central Jon Stewart.
This is
I just thought of the Star Trek guy, but that's Patrick
I like
Stewart.
Trevor Noah, but that's my can. I watched The Daily Show every single time with my parents. I love Jon Stewart. He was a big part of my ideas about politics and pop culture. So shout out to that, Jon Stewart.
Yeah. Shout out to that, Jon Stewart.
I do want to say, Micah, like I had to pull this out. Yes, I do have my box set of the complete Transformers animated show, which check it out. It opens up just like the Matrix of Leadership. So yeah.
That's really great. It's too bad they never made live action movies for those.
No, they never did.
Yeah, it's weird. You think that they would have.
Yeah, and maybe they would have, put a really hot woman in there just to, get young boys and queer women like me to go watch it and enjoy it.
Wasn't that one of Orson Welles' last roles? What?
Megan Fox is hot. I'm sorry, what?
I was going to say, wasn't like one of Orson Welles' like last performances playing some weird planet villain in one of the Transformers movies?
In the animated film, he played Unicron.
Unicron.
How did they get him?
Veering back to Transformers, they had such wacky names. Like you have these guys that are from space, and they have names like Optimus Prime, Bumblebee.
Dude,
I love how in the first
we're coming for you.
I love how in the first episode of the series, like when they're on Cybertron, they're like the vehicles that they transform into are like, have like space kind of designs and like they're spacecrafts. But when they transform into their actual robot selves, you can see the car parts and stuff. It's like that. That design-wise, that doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah.
How are we, Micah? Are we good to move on to another list?
Yeah, I think we're good to move on.
All right.
I have my lunch is going to be ready in like 10 or so minutes. So I can't be on here the whole stream. I'm going to have to get off in like
Sadly,
10
Micah
minutes.
is leaving us, hence why I had him go
I have
second.
work.
But Lo had to go first because once again, #linksfire. So
I must work.
Capitalism interfering with our fandom stuff, don't we?
I know that, Sanri. God, you make me feel so bad. I'm sorry. I know it's expensive.
Animation is expensive. Sanri knows.
So are live action movies, though.
J-Dubs and Yogi, I'm going to say a couple of things, and then, gentlemen, between yourselves, who should go next?
Yogi can go first.
Okay, awesome. So, I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, thank you, everyone, to those that are in the live chat. We've got AK, of course, Sanri. Yogi is in there in his alt account. Lady Leaf Underhill, Anna. We also have scrolling. Kate, Kelly, aka Kelly. You know it's coming, and I apologize, but I made a banner and I kind of want to use it. Jaded Redhead. I'm sorry, I really am.
No,
I feel bad, but not enough to not do
Redhead.
Jaded Redhead. Stephen was in the chat earlier. He might be back. Check out Here Be Dragons. By the way, J-Dubs, what are you doing on Here Be Dragons this coming week?
We're covering. Oh, guess what? We're doing season 4 of the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Also, Chloe, thank you very much. Over there at Girls Gone Canon, please check them out. Love them, support them financially and emotionally. Okay, I scrolled. I'm sorry if I missed you, but yes, thank you everyone who's catching this live. This is the only time I go live on my channel, really. So I really appreciate it when people show up. For those of you listening afterwards, thank you as well. And I'm just going to say one more thing, which is that I have my birthstone on, which is emerald because I am May. Yes. And so I got excited. And then also the bracelet is courtesy of my best gal, Jenna. They are dragonflies, and it's mostly green and blue because green's my favorite color. And I love dragonflies. So, yes, thank you, everyone, so much. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the YouTube things. And all of the podcast things. Leave me a 5-star review, especially on Apple Podcasts, because I really enjoy bringing content to your ears, and I would like it, if you liked it, to tell people that. Yogi, let's talk about your list. So, can you please read it off for the podcast listeners?
That's
John. Give me a second.
Wow.
There you go, sir.
There you go.
Content previews.
Well, it's in the description, so.
But I should say that Star Wars: The Clone Wars could have kind of also made it on to this list because I was kind of.
You could have Yogi on to talk
obsessed.
about that, John.
I don't remember. I don't remember that. I watched that when I was 14, and I did not. I don't even like Star Wars, but I kind of like the show. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed the TV show.
I'm sorry, all I heard was I was 14 and I wanted to die inside.
Wait, no, when did it come out? Maybe I'm lying.
Started in 2009, I think.
Oh, okay. I was like 11 then. Yeah, I was probably 14 when I watched it. So, but yeah, I mean, I liked it. I like it a lot more than most other Star Wars things that I've seen. But let's okay. So my shows are Gravity Falls, Bob's Burgers, and Skins. I don't know why you said Skins UK. You kind of make it sound like there's another version of Skins, some kind of remake.
I thought this thing you said.
No, I think there's only this one. I don't think there's any other Skin versions.
You go Skin. For American viewers, this is a UK show. I don't know. I just put it in there.
I mean, there might be some.
That canonically, there's only one Skins, even if other people might claim other untrue things. I think what Yogi is saying is that canonically there's only one skin.
Look, that's why when I sent the pictures, I was like, Yogi, is this your skins? Because I was afraid it was going to be like, it's like, I want to talk about Degrassi Next Generation. They put up Degrassi Junior High from the 80s. I'm like, get that out of my face.
Yeah, I mean, they should probably address that there is a US kind of like remake kind of thing, like they did for The Office of Skins. It's not very good. And I like to think it doesn't exist.
Okay.
But
I respect that. Tell us about Skins. Yogi, what is it?
Is there a UK version of The Office?
All right,
is that Gendry in the middle?
That is, yeah, I'm going to talk about that.
There's Gendry right there. What's he doing there?
Skins. There's also Gilly is also in there if you look. Yeah, Gilly and Gendry from Game of Thrones were in Skins.
Wow.
Yeah. So Skins is a UK show about a bunch of teenagers from Bristol and the shenanigans that they get up to. It's a very sex, drugs, and rock and roll kind of TV show, which is probably partly because why I was so obsessed with it, because it was like the first show that I ever saw where they showed like, people my age boozing and doing all sorts of crazy illegal stuff. I was never that rebellious, but it was kind of interesting to get like a glimpse into that kind of thing. And it addressed a lot of issues. It's kind of similar to the show that Lo talked about, SKAM, I think it was called. So, but instead of focusing on a character every season, they focused on a character every episode. So it started out in the first episode with the lead character, Tony, who was played by Nicholas Hoult of Mad Max fame. And he was also in The Favorite. And it's kind of a theme with Skins that all of the actors who were in it kind of went on to become like major TV and movie stars. You have Nicholas Hoult, then you have, I wrote it down, you have Hannah Murray, who played Gilly in Game of Thrones. You have Dev Patel, who is in a whole bunch of stuff. He was in Slumdog Millionaire.
You started with Dev Patel, that's all I'm saying. Don't
Joe Dempsey.
Which, by the way, Amy, he's in that movie, The Green Knight, that I'm trying to get you to.
Dude, if ever it's Dev Patel, and that's the first thing you tell me.
Dev Patel is like one.
Okay.
Dev Patel
I'm a
is
big
like
fan.
That Dev Patel was like the only good thing to come out of the last Airbender movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
you got
Millionaire.
It doesn't. There's 3 seasons of the show, and then there's Korra, and that's it.
Wait, John, you don't like Slumdog Millionaire?
I do not.
Oh, I mean neither. Oh, it's so great. We've never found something that we both dislike.
I like the music.
Yeah.
We have lots of stuff that we both like.
Yeah.
As I was saying.
That's funny. We have the opposite dynamic of me and Aaron. Like, we're in search of stuff that we both dislike.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, as I said, you got Hannah Murray, she's Gilly from Game of Thrones, Dev Patel, Joe Dempsey, who was Gendry in Game of Thrones, and then Nicholas Hoult. Daniel Kaluuya was in it from Get Out, and he was also in
Oh my gosh.
Black Mirror.
He won,
You had,
he won quite a few awards lately too, and
yes.
that's the guy I'm thinking of. And the guy who was like in his speech, my parents, it's crazy, they got together and they had sex, and there I was, or something like that. That was my favorite Oscars moment, I will say.
There is Bill Bailey was in it, and Peter Capaldi was also in it. Just a whole bunch of famous people. Some people said they did not go on to have great careers, some of the actors, but most of them did. And yeah, it's just a great show about, it dealt with stuff like, kind of like what Lowe said about their shows. It dealt with stuff like religion. One of the characters, played by Dev Patel, was Muslim. And then another one of the main characters, Maxie, was gay. So they had an episode called Maxie and Anwar that dealt with kind of like with the issue of Anwar not really being okay with Maxie's being gay, so to speak. So they had the whole episode about that. They had the episode that has, I keep forgetting his name, Jesus Christ. Joe Dempsey, Gendry, as the main character, deals with him getting abandoned by his mom. And kind of just, and it's really good, like, it's just the acting is really good. And I was obsessed with it, but I don't have that much more to say because I kind of don't remember a lot of it. It's kind of a blur.
That's cool.
I just remember really liking it.
Do you have any like special memories associated with it? Like when I talk about Charmed, I'm going to talk about how I saw it while I was getting ready for school. I remember that.
I mean, it's another one of those shows where it was like, it was on and I kind of like, I put it on like the low volume and I kind of like watched it kind of thinking that I wasn't supposed to, even though I didn't really have parents who were like, you can't watch this, you can't watch that. You know, it's my dad showed me like.
I talked about that actually with my mom on the Bleep the Friendly Skies, that episode of Bleep the Patriarchy. Bleep it, y'all. That she was on, is that she really didn't like regulate what I was consuming, and I actually appreciate her for it. Because I was kind of a mature kid in a lot of ways, and I could handle bigger themes. And I was a little bit also bored by a lot of some like kids and young adult things, which is why I think Avatar: Last Airbender is one of the best shows ever made. Because it doesn't matter what age you are, It's a great show.
Hey guys, I gotta jump off. Here.
Micah, thank you so much for coming. Everyone in the chat.
Thank you.
In the
Bye,
chat.
Micah.
Bye.
Thank you for having me, guys. I was glad to talk a little
Micah.
bit. Now I
Bye.
gotta
Yes,
go.
please check
I
out
gotta go
Planetos
perform cashier
podcast.
duties for ungrateful people. Well, some are grateful, but a lot of them are not.
Micah,
Sending
all
my
of his links are in the
solidarity.
description, dear listeners and watchers. So please check out Planetos Pod.
Please.
Micah's a fun Twitter follow, so do all the things.
Follow me on Twitter. Find the episode that I did with Emmett on the Nauticast podcast where we discussed Redwall. It was a great fun. Had a lot of fun watching it. I gotta run now, so
Bye, Micah.
Bye-bye.
bye.
Oh, thank God.
All right, Yogi, skins done or not? Finally.
Oh, skins. Yeah. I mean, as I was saying, my dad growing up, he didn't really care what I was watching. Like, he showed me Jurassic Park when I was like 8, even though it has people's arms being ripped off. So it's not. But it was more like
Has
my
some
own
comic
shame
scenes,
that
though.
made me watch these things in secret, and, like rationalizing why I was into it. But yeah, I just remember. I don't know. I think it's just generally this kind of sense of that it was very different from most of the other like teen shows, because I was watching stuff like Hannah Montana or The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody when I was a kid, and then to go from that to Skins that has like it's like they got sex scenes, they got nude scenes, they got excessive drug consumption, all the stuff that I never did when I was a teenager.
Actually,
so it was just
Yogi,
kind of
I
exciting.
have a question about Skins and SKAM too, Lo, if you wanted to answer. Sometimes Degrassi, it was originally kind of an after-school special, especially the early 80s stuff. Does it ever have that after-school special feel? Yogi about Skins, and then maybe Lo, if you have something to say about SKAM.
I mean, with Skins never really was a show where it was like they never really learned a lesson at the end. So, for example, the episode that had the Hannah Murray, so Gilly from Game of Thrones, she played a girl with an eating disorder, and her episode was about. She was, if I remember this correctly, it was like her last session with her therapist or something like that, and the entire episode just kind of dealt with her, and it ended with her taking a bite from a burger. And in most shows, that would be kind of like, oh, see, she's cured forever, hooray! Now on to the next episode. But like her eating disorder struggles continue throughout the season, even as there's episodes with other main characters. So it's never really anything that's resolved. Like, for example, the one with the Joe Dempsey, he plays Chris, and the episode where he gets basically just abandoned by his mom. Like, she leaves him £1,000 and just leaves, and he thinks she's just gone for like a week, so he blows all the money.
She
on,
went
like,
to go get cigarettes?
Yeah, there's like this. I remember this because he blows all the money in like one weekend because she thinks she'll be back, but then at the end of the episode, he walks into her room and sees that all the drawers are empty, and then he kind of like it ends with him being in student council housing stuff. And it's just sad, and it's not really. No one learns anything from
So
it. It's just kind
real
of like
problems. Yeah,
Yeah.
AK had a great thing in the chat saying Skins was never really preachy like Degrassi could get. Yeah, that's what I meant by the after school special. The don't do drugs, kids. That kind of Degrassi could get. Like I said, and I do have an episode if you are a Degrassi Next Generation stan with Jen from Lisa and Jen Go Canadian, a Degrassi rewatch podcast where a Degrassi stan and a Degrassi first time watcher talk about it episode by episode. Please check them out. Once again, Lisa and Jen Go Canadian, comma A exclamation mark. Anyway,
I mean, I
Go
should say
Canadian
there was like there was
there-
controversy around Skins.
yeah, there was some controversy around Degrassi, especially the abortion episode. It didn't air in America. It aired in America later, but it aired in Canada at the time. Yeah, Lo, I have some. Don't worry, we're gonna get to Degrassi. Lo, SKAM, after school special preachy. Sometimes, not all the time. Never.
The thing, like, there was a conscious thing with the show of like dealing with difficult topics and like giving teenagers tools to handle them. But one thing that I think was different from other shows was that like characters fucked up. They did like bad stuff, and it wasn't like don't do drugs, kids, or don't drink alcohol, kids. Like they did that. That was totally fine. It was more like relational stuff, like someone would accidentally say something homophobic, and then a few episodes later they were like, oh, that was shitty of me, sorry about that. So it was more like giving teenagers the tools to deal with things, but it wasn't really preachy, I would say. And it wasn't like, the show also had like eating disorders and sexual assault. And I know, for instance, I read somewhere that in the second season, there's a kind of big sexual assault plot line. And after that, I know I read that the number of reported sexual assaults went up really a lot in Norway, because the show made people realize that, oh, I can report this thing that happened to me, and that is actually illegal. And they really showed how like friends can support you, and if you go to the police, they can help you, and if you go to hospital, they can help you.
Yeah, oftentimes the statistics that we hear, those are the reported. There's a lot of social stigma about saying something as a sexual assault survivor. I can say for sure, there is this, you're told to ignore it, to keep quiet, just move on with your life. So a lot of men, women, trans, non-binary individuals don't report. Exactly. For many, many different reasons. Especially there's also family shame involved for a lot of people. Luckily not my family, or my parents, certainly not. But there's so much stigma with a lot of that. And I will get to Degrassi, but there's definitely sexual assault storylines, like with Paige, Michael Chuck, that character played by Lauren Collins, and also in Degrassi Next Class and the last couple episodes, Degrassi Next Generation. I forgot her name. Alex Rivas. No? Rivas? Zoe Rivas. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing with SKAM, like they, you really feel what that character is feeling as she's going through that, because she, the thing that happens is that something happens to her while she's passed out drunk. So she doesn't remember what's happening, and she's trying to piece it all together afterwards. So as the audience, you're feeling her panic with her, and it really plays on that name of the show, SKAM, shame. She feels a lot of shame, even if she's like a super like woke feminist. She's still like, I fucked up. It was my fault. And by the end, she realizes, wasn't her fault. The dude was just a freaking asshole. Yeah. And she could report him, and he can just suffer the consequences of his terrible decisions.
And his gross actions. So Yogi, final thoughts on Skin / move on to one of your other shows?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that Skins was more of a show where they just tried to portray teenage life more accurately, not so much teaching any particular lessons. Even though there were some critics who said that it was a bit too extreme. So like they went a bit, because it's TV, so they exaggerated some things. Even though I do have friends from the UK who were teens when this aired, and they said it was pretty accurate. So damn, but okay.
Yeah, and I think a lot of adults don't want to have to watch.
There's some stuff in it.
Like kids suffer growing up. There's a lot of things, especially. A lot of people talk about representation of queer people in high school dramas and such. As a millennial, that was absolutely my experience. Myself and others were growing up queer. And so, baby boomers and above, your classmates were too. They just weren't so out about it. So I really do appreciate the showing real life problems like that. And it's just not always so black and white and easy.
There was something else I was going to say, but I think I forgot.
Sorry, Yogi.
So it probably wasn't that okay.
But it's my birthday. I can't.
Oh, no. I just thought about it again. Oh. Now, a thing that I really liked about the show was that the actors were actually the age of the characters that they were portraying, which is, on the one hand, really great, but on the other hand, it's also kind of the reason why I have never really gone back and rewatched Skins, because it does have a lot of, like, sex scenes and stuff in it, and I'm like, watching it as an adult, it is kind of weird. So
I know that's selling it for me, but whatever you want to do.
It's like okay, but yeah, it's a good show.
So Gravity Falls or Bob's Burgers next?
I'm gonna say Gravity Falls, because Gravity Falls was.
What is this? I know literally nothing. Tell me everything, Yogi.
Gravity Falls. It's kind of like if The Simpsons and Twin Peaks had a baby. That would be Gravity Falls. Okay. So it's a mystery show that has that really like very, very good like humor. It's like kind of like The Simpsons, very dense with its humor. They have a joke every second, but they also manage still to tell a story. And usually I wouldn't have put a show like this for my teenage years, even though I guess you're a teenager at 13. And I watched a lot of cartoons even when I was 14, 15. But this one specifically I was invested in and obsessed with because it was designed to be obsessed with, because it had a continuous storyline and a continuous mystery. So you were encouraged to, like, it had clues in it and everything. It was really, really cleverly done. It only had 2 seasons, so they knew when to, quit. They went out on top, which I always respect shows that do that. It's kind of my thing with Skins as well. They kind of should have stopped after season 1, because season 1 ends with the main character being hit by a bus, and then season 2 is kind of a bit and then after that it's just complete garbage. But yeah, Gravity Falls, it's just, there's not a bad episode in there. They kind of alternate between plot heavy and joke heavy episodes. It's just really funny. It's about 2 siblings, Mabel played by Kristen Schaal, and Dipper played by not Kristen Ritter. What's his name? Jason Ritter? Something Ritter? Some guy. I should have probably looked this up. But they go. Ritter of some sort. They have a great uncle, which they call Grunkle. It's their Grunkle Stan, and he runs a kind of like tourist trap in the Pacific. Is his name Stan Northwest. Stanley? Stan. His name is Stan. Yeah, Grunkle Stan.
That's my dad's name.
And he runs this thing called the Mystery Shack, and it has all these fake mystery. It's kind of like the Loch Ness Monster and stuff like that. So really cheap bad attractions. But the joke about it kind of is that the forest that the Mystery Shack is in actually has a lot of real mysteries going on. Like there's everything from unicorns to gnomes to, there's a whole bunch of mystery and like an actual mystery associated with it. But this Grunkle Stan is kind of a con man but he also has a dark secret, and that's kind of like it focuses on mainly Dipper finds in the first episode. He finds this journal that has kind of all these mysterious creatures in it, and it's just them trying to find out. And it has some really great episodes. Also has great representation. It's got these 2, my favorite side characters are they have these 2 cops who are just really, really incompetent, and they're best friends. They're kind of like Carl and Lenny from The Simpsons. Actually, shockingly similar to Carl and Lenny, but unlike The Simpsons, Gravity Falls actually had the guts to make them gay in the final episode.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Which is always good. And I mean,
Erin M, she's not in the chat right now. I bet she's working as a Simpsons fan. So
yes, I mean it's very much. It's more for children, but it's got some adult humor in there. Like for a Disney show, there are some jokes in it that are shockingly adult. I always remember the one where Dipper breaks into his uncle's room and he goes through his stuff, and there's a magazine that's called Fully Clothed Women in his uncle's stuff. and stuff like that. Where, like, if you were a child, you wouldn't even understand what that's a joke about.
That's great.
So they throw in stuff for adults as well. And obviously, Kristen Schaal is fantastic voice actress, does Mabel. She's also in Bob's Burgers. So that's how that connects.
Oh!
Those are like her 2 famous roles. She's Louise from Bob's Burgers, and she is Mabel from Gravity Falls. There we go, Bob's Burgers. This is more late teens. So Gravity Falls was like, I was 14-ish, and this is like I'm 15, 16. So I kind of started watching Bob's Burgers when I was 15. The Simpsons were already they had been sucking for a while when I was 15, and while there were some reruns on German television, you kind of had to get lucky to get a good one, and Bob's Burgers was just like consistently good. And what I really appreciate about Bob's Burgers is at the beginning when it came out, I was like, oh wow, how original. It's another TV show about a cartoon family doing things, 3 kids, mom and dad. This is basically your average like Family Guy, American Dad, The Simpsons, all of these shows. But what I think makes Bob's Burgers so much better than all those other things is that the family in Bob's Burgers, they actually like each other, and they're like wholesome and supportive of each other.
Kind of nice sometimes.
And you don't get stuff like Homer choking Bart out, or like Peter Griffin being a horrible father. They're just genuinely good people, and it's kind of like what makes the show fun is that they're just really, like, as a group, they're a group of really strange. They all have their like quirks. The main character, I shouldn't say they're all main characters, but like Bob from Bob's Burgers runs a restaurant called Bob's Burgers, and he makes really good burgers. but the restaurant's just not successful for some reason. And then Linda is kind of like everyone's mom. She loves drinking wine. She keeps breaking out into song. I think you would really like her, Amy. She's
Oh my god, it's like my mom, but in cartoon form.
yes, that's
Wow.
a lot of people say, and she's which is funny because her voice, she's voiced by Josh Roberts, I think is his name. She's voiced by a guy who got his start having a YouTube channel where he was parodying his own mom. So he uploaded this video where he was dressed as his mom, doing her voice and doing stuff. And the creator of Bob's Burgers called Lauren Bouchard, and he saw it, and he cast him as the voice of Linda, and it surprisingly works really well. It's strange, and Bob's Burgers does this a lot actually, where they will gender swap their voice actors, so they have a bunch of people who are voiced by women even though they're men, and they have one of their teenage daughters, another fan favorite, Tina. She's voiced by a comedian called Dan Mintz. And he's not even changing his voice. He's just using his normal voice.
So for a reference here, Yogi, I've got a picture of the family up there. So mother,
right,
obviously
right.
You mentioned. Now you just mentioned Tina. Is that the older girl or the younger girl?
That's with the glasses.
Older with the glasses.
And then Louise is the one voiced by Christian Schall, and then Gene is the boy. He's voiced by Eugene Merman. And then there's Teddy. Teddy is not a part of the family, but he wish he was. He's
Oh, like so the girl with the bunny ears is what again?
Louise.
Louise, gotcha. Okay, I have a lot of friends who watch Bob Burgers, so I've seen clips, but it's on my list. Yo.
The other guy in that picture is Teddy. He's a handyman. He's kind of like the only regular customer of Bob's Burgers, and he wishes he was a part of the family. He's weirdly obsessed with Bob and his like family life. in a strange way, but it's funny. And my favorite part about Bob's Burgers is when they do holiday themed episodes, which doesn't really make much sense from a logic point of view, because they have a Christmas special every season, but they never get older, which is kind of strange. And they also have a Halloween episode, a Thanksgiving episode, a Valentine's Day episode, and a Christmas episode, and you can always count on those being really good. They have a really solid voice cast. They have Calvin Klein.
I love good holiday episodes.
He plays the landlord, Mr. Fish Odor, and he's the kind of like the villain in the show. And yeah, it's another thing I really like about the show, which a lot of people have pointed out, is that it has good representation. There's one episode of it that's very controversial. That's like in the first season. So that one's kind of a yikes, I have to agree. But they kind of made up for it by the rest of the show really stands out as being very. They have an entire Christmas special episode, which is one of my favorite episodes. It's called The Bleakening, and it's about a gay nightclub being shut down around Christmas time, so all the queer people can't have their traditional Christmas rave, and then
that's a tragedy.
There's a side plot about someone stealing all the Christmas decorations in town. And then there's this whole story about the kids thinking there's a creature called the Bleaken who steals Christmas decorations. And it all ends with them in this like big abandoned factory. And it turns out that all the Christmas decorations were for this secret queer Christmas rave that they're having. And there's a really great like song number, and Todrick Hall does a voice of, he voices like I think he voices a drag queen who sings a cool gay Christmas song called Twinkly Lights that I listen to every Christmas. It's very good. And another thing about it is talking about the politics of the show. It's not just that they have good inclusivity. They also are one of the very few shows that actually addresses the class of the family. So like the poverty of their family is an actual thing that comes up. It's not like The Simpsons where they kind of just, sometimes it's mentioned as a joke that they have bills, but it's never a real issue. But with Bob's Burgers, a lot of episodes center around the landlord, who's kind of the villain, Mr. Fish Odor, like getting Bob to do things he doesn't want to do by promising him to like that he doesn't have to pay rent or to like cut the rent. So that's a lot of shenanigans that they get into. They just do to get like money for the Christmas presents for their kids or stuff like that. And it's just stuff like that I think is really neat and really sets it apart from other shows, even though on the surface it just looks like a run-of-the-mill cartoon family sitcom show. But it's not. It's good. It's really good.
Awesome, Yogi. Final thoughts on any of your shows?
I mean, my favorite out of the three is probably, I would have to say it's probably Gravity Falls. That show is really good. Like, I would encourage everyone to watch that. And I could have picked a whole bunch of shows that I was I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid. I kind of had trouble with like deciding what counts as like my teenage years and what doesn't. I could have easily put stuff on here like Phineas
You pondered
and
the
Ferb,
most about my topic,
SpongeBob
Yogi.
and
You were the last to
SquarePants.
get back to me with your shows.
Kim
So it's
Possible
that
also
man's
almost
sitting
made
on
it.
I can tell he's thinking.
Yeah,
He's
I was
sitting in his
I was
thinking chair
obsessed
like
with a lot of
Bruce
stuff
Bruce.
when I was a kid.
Cool. So are we ready to move on, Yogi?
Yep.
J-Dubs, you've been so patient. Thank you.
Yeah, so this was actually really easy for me because I don't think I was that big of a TV watcher in my teen years in the sense of watching a lot of different stuff. I think, like, obviously, I love movies, but I think when it came to TV shows, I picked like my few TV shows that I actually loved and just sort of obsessed about them at the time. And it's funny because when I was thinking about this, I realized that Highlander was pretty much, I think, my first like sort of hour-long dramatic series that I watched coming out of my younger years when, like when I was younger, like early 90s, it was Power Rangers and, Batman, the animated series, X-Men, that Saturday morning stuff. And then the thing about Highlander that was funny was it all started because I was a Mortal Kombat fan, and because Christopher Lambert had played Raiden in the film version of that. That is not Christopher Lambert, but but I can't hear you, Amy.
I was muted. I don't know who this is. I'm just putting up
Yeah,
pictures.
don't worry about it. I'll take care of the pictures. I don't have a picture of Christopher Lambert because he's the actor from the films and the film version of Highlander. The reason why I bring that up is because I had watched the films a couple of times because I was a fan of his from Mortal Kombat. And then my friend Tim had called me up one night. He said, "Hey, Christopher Lambert is on TV right now on, it looks like a television version of Highlander." And it ended up being the pilot episode of the series where the actor from the film had appeared to sort of hand it off to the television show actor, who was Adrian Paul, who plays Duncan MacLeod in the series. And I got so obsessed with this show. I think it's the mixture of just obviously, sword fighting, martial arts, and also like historical drama. For people who don't know what Highlander is, it's basically the story of a race of immortals, who, well, almost immortals anyway. They live through the centuries, and there's this concept called the Gathering, where like there's only a few of them left. And few is kind of relative in terms of the TV show, but where they basically have to fight each other, and basically whoever wins a fight and cuts off the other's head absorbs their energy, and whoever is the last one has like an immense amount of power to and we don't exactly know what comes as a result of that. It's called the prize. But so the television show follows mainly the character of Duncan MacLeod as he's 400 years old, and we get flashbacks throughout the series of things he's done in his past, people he's met, and the show really deals in sort of concepts of how we change over time, and especially for these immortals who have lived centuries and have gone through many different things. There's episodes where somebody wants revenge on Duncan for having murdered British soldiers during in the aftermath of the Battle of Culloden in Scotland. But of course, the British did horrible things to the Scots, for that battle. And Duncan, in that episode feels remorse for what he's done. So he actually agrees with the person who wants to kill him. So it's these sort of ideological discussions and stuff. And the show had a lot of great characters.
You're a shipper. Tell us about the romance, John.
Yeah. Oh, the romance. Yeah. Yeah. So there's wonderful character on the show, played by the actress Elizabeth Grayson. Her name is Amanda, and yeah, I felt things growing up for this
Yeah,
particular
that's.
character.
I saw some pictures. I was like, John, let's go. Don't bury the lead.
Yeah.
Come on.
She is mischievous. She is untrustworthy. She's playful, and she is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. She basically pops up in Duncan's life, like, once every few years historically, and causes trouble for him, and they have a great love for each other, but Duncan kind of always knows that there's going to be she's up to something whenever she pops up. So she's a wonderful character, and I had a major crush on her growing up with this show.
Would you say she's similar to Yennefer from The Witcher?
Kind of, but she's much more playful. It's like, in terms of, like, she teases him a lot, and I think it's a different dynamic. It's like, as soon as she shows up, Duncan always assumes that she wants something of him. She's in trouble. She, not that she's running to him for protection, but that she's going to him to kind of deflect some of her trouble onto him. And so it's really great. And of course, they do have a great romance, though. And as she pops up throughout the show, you get more of that relationship. And I really enjoyed some other characters on the show. You've got these guys. Peter Wingfield on the left plays Mythos, who's actually, sorry, he plays the world's oldest immortal. He's like thousands of years old, and but he's kind of a smart ass, which is the fun part of his character. And then on the right is a character named Joe Dawson, who belongs to an organization called the Watchers that basically know about immortals, and they're aware of what they're doing. And so their whole thing is they observe and record, but they don't interfere in the issues of immortals. So they're kind of chroniclers of this great sort of epic battle that goes on. And a fun thing about this show was that another frequent guest star was none other than Roger Daltrey of The Who played one of Duncan's best friends, Fitz, who again sort of pops up, every couple of years, and their relationship is great. It would have been nice even for him to be in even more episodes, because they have a great natural chemistry. And I did want to also mention one other pretty vital character to the series, which was Richie Ryan, who is protege of Duncan. The show starts off, and he's actually not an immortal. He's just someone who kind of falls into like a foster son type of role for Duncan. And then as the show goes on, he's actually murdered along with, unfortunately, Duncan's first love, which is a very tragic episode. She dies, but Richie comes back to life, and so he's trained as an immortal. I really wanted to mention him because actually the actor who plays him, Stan Kirsch, passed away last year, which was really sad, just having grown up, watching these characters. And that hit me pretty hard. But yeah, this show is great because it tackled just complex relationships. You've got, I mentioned Dawson, like the whole thing about the Watchers is they're not supposed to reveal themselves to the immortals. He does, and there's this really great friendship that develops between him and Duncan, and they're constantly trying to navigate the line of, how close is too close for their relationship, and does that compromise what Dawson is supposed to be doing. And yeah, it's what makes this show great is these character relationships. I think that brings more depth to the series and what they're able to do with the movies. And I think there's a general sort of romanticism about the show that is not in the films, and that's why I fell in love with it so much. You get this concept of all these great things that Duncan has been a part of in the past, and the flashbacks are like, in some cases, they're some of the funnest stuff in the episode. Even though it is kind of funny sometimes watching the production crew try and sell their filming locations in Canada or Paris as ancient sites from different centuries and stuff. It's not always, they don't always pull it off, but
It's my birthday. I now declare Buffy time.
okay. Well, I just do want to say,
I want to talk so bad.
all right, let me just say a couple more things, because it wasn't a flawless show. When the show started off, it was early 90s, and they were still it still had a very late 80s, early 90s aesthetic for a television show. It's not like what you get nowadays, but I really do feel like they grew production-wise as they went on, and not every episode wasn't necessarily knocking it out of the park, but I think it had a lot of depth. The mythology was great, and yeah, I love the characters. Okay, we can do Buffy now.
Thank you, because I will preface this with "fuck you, Joss Whedon, you're a terrible human being," but my God, I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He's not going to ruin these shows for me. That's
okay.
all
I
I'll say.
get you, Don, but I'm just saying. Obviously, this is my channel, and Lo is here, and we always recognize when these things are.
I know, and he's horrible. But I'm saying, on top of all that, I won't let that bastard ruin these great, wonderful shows.
So, okay, I gotta ask everyone then: Angel or Spike? John?
Spike.
Spike too for me.
I don't know who these people are.
That's okay, Yogi. People in the chat, Angel or Spike?
Why are you making me choose?
Because I love pulling people. You must choose. The difficulty is the choosing. I understand.
The choosing has always been hard.
Spike, because even when he was a soulless vampire, he went in search of his own redemption. Angel, but I love Angel too, but he had his quote unquote redemption forced on him. So yeah. But they're both great characters. I love them so much.
I would like to say I would pick the one.
Spike all day, every day.
I would pick the one with blonde hair because his shirt is more unbuttoned.
All right, I love it. I love
it. Also in Torchwood, by the way.
Also,
yes,
I just
letting you know.
Sexual magnetism. Spike has it in spades, and Angel, I'm not into it. I'm just really into Spike. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let's spread the thirst around, because Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes. Yes.
Amy Sai / John Sai / Lo Sai, I'm sure. This really made me realize I wasn't straight. I just have to say, is Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy. It felt feelings, still feel feelings just looking at this picture. So
yeah, and actually it's interesting because I have both Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel listed, and I was a fan of Buffy first by about a year, because I was looking for a show to fill the void since Highlander had come and gone, so I was looking for a new show to get into, and I actually started with the season 5 premiere of Buffy, which was the Dracula episode, and then caught up as I went. But to
address also Spike, did commit sexual assault, obviously. That's not my Spike standing is with that, in mind, unfortunately. So
I was actually
the thing I will say about that with an asterisk, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm trivializing anything, but I mean, that whole storyline, basically, first of all, he does that when he is a soulless vampire. As charming as he is, that is what he is, and that's what his actions prompt him to go off and try and make himself better than that. I can see why that's a no-go for for a lot of people.
I definitely understand, and I definitely share those concerns.
I actually
Go ahead,
I
Lo.
watched Buffy as a teenager, but I actually stopped after that episode, and I never finished. I was actually talking with our friend Shiloh Carroll about this the other day because she's writing some Buffy essays on her blog currently, and I said, yeah, I didn't finish after that because it was just a mess, that storyline to me, and I did not appreciate that it at all. So yeah, but still, generally, if we ignore the mess that was that storyline, otherwise Spike.
I like your style. I dig. This is why we're hashtag links fire. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and speaking of which, and Eliza Dushku as Faith, also another great part of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like season 3 of Buffy, I'm like, why they just get Angel out of the picture? And
Can we talk some Allison Hannigan / Willow, please? And how this was so important. Her queer relationship was so important to everything that is me. Lo, I hear you. Go ahead.
No, just I don't have words. I just loved it. It was so pure and beautiful, and certain things that happened broke my heart to a million pieces. But generally, I just loved that, and also probably had a big part of my queer awakening at 14, 15 when I watched it.
Yeah, Willow is bae, and I know Stephen Stark has a Xander and a Willow, 2 little doggies, and I'm here for it. I love Willow. I love Allison Hannigan and How I Met Your Mother too, even though How I Met Your Mother is also quite problematic.
Yeah, but it's like it drives me crazy when people know her from that because I'm like, no, it's Willow.
It's Willow. Yeah, no, she's Willow. I always was very drawn to her character. And I think that she was really important to the show and important to me just in general. Like, if you were to say, give me your top 5 favorite fictional queer characters, Willow's is in the top 5. She may be 2 or 3. I can't decide on number 1. But yeah, Willow's definitely in the top 5.
And like the father figure that everybody wants, Giles.
Giles? Who puts Giles? Sorry, I'm okay. I love that librarian little. I just love him. My gosh.
Yeah, it's. God, I just love the relationship that's, between him and Buffy. That's like starts off like at the start of the show. It's very sort of Buffy wants like nothing to do with him, but then she comes to rely on him and then love him so much. And there's moments like during the musical episode where he's singing about whether he should leave or not, and it just pulls at my heartstrings, and I'm like, God, I love their relationship so much.
Yeah, and the thing about Buffy too is that I liked the idea that the chosen one was a woman, and I would like to see a reboot with a woman of color or a queer woman of color. So Yogi is going to have to leave. His laptop is cursed, so he's going to head out. So everyone say bye-bye to Yogi and thank you for joining me.
I'm watching it die before my eyes. I have to
go.
It's
like, it's just, it can't even right now with StreamYard. Thank you so much, Yogi.
Goodbye.
Chat, say goodbye to Yogi.
Bye.
Later.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks for
listening.
Thanks for being on my special birthday buddy Banter, Yogi.
So you didn't even see like lines in the picture. It's looking like it's this. Just the picture quality is taking a downgrade.
Yeah, apparently his laptop was just decided it's time to die now. So that's what's happening.
Yeah, and I want to say like anytime that I saw like vampire love stories in the years to come after Buffy, like Twilight, I was like, no, you don't have anything on Buffy and Angel, okay? No,
Sorry, I switched the picks too quick. Go back to the Buffy Angel pick.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a good. Yeah.
No. Yeah. These two have, my heart and soul, and like I'm always going to be weeping over their tragic romance. There's actually an episode of Angel where they're almost reunited, and then it doesn't happen, and
that is your personal decision, John. That you ship them. I gotcha. It happened.
Yeah.
They were a couple. Some people feel it. Some people don't.
Yeah, and their musical theme, you knew I was going to mention music, is just so beautiful and heartbreaking, and yeah. But that said, I do think
can we also talk about Cordelia though? Because we've been talking about a lot of women. I really like Cordelia. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't.
I love Cordy.
Yeah. Is she in this picture? There she is. Yeah, I really like what they do. They do this a lot in Degrassi. They make you hate the girl and then you like her after a while. And it's always really great to see them make me be like, oh, she's annoying, she's the worst, and then be like, oh my God, Cordelia after some episodes. It's pretty it's really well done.
And once she goes over to the television show Angel, which of course is the other show on my list, like that develops even more, so she becomes just an absolutely phenomenal character.
Do you want to go ahead and start bringing in Angel, because I still have my shows left, John, and it's my birthday?
Yeah. I like Angel is my preferred of the two shows, I think, just because it was able to segue into being darker and more adult, and there's so much that I love about this show, because you got to really, dig into these characters. And I love that they took the bumbling character of Wesley Wyndham Price from Angel and brought him, or Buffy, and brought him into Angel. And you see just his character development is so tragic. The way, he's kind of, you laugh at the character when you first see him on Buffy, and he's kind of annoying, and then he comes on Angel, and just bit by bit, you see, his soul kind of being chipped away, and by the end of the series, like the stuff with him and Fred is just, tears my heart out. Once again, like tragic romances, like just when these two characters get together, and then of course it's ripped away from us, and it's absolutely brutal. Some other characters I want to mention with Angel, you've got unfortunately another actor who's passed away, Andy Hillette, who played Lorne, the demon from he runs the demon karaoke bar, which is great. In the season 2 opener, it's like he comes into frame with this threatening music, and you think like he's a bad guy, because he looks, he is a demon, but then he brings up the microphone and starts singing, and it's hilarity. I loved him so much. So we can get onto your shows, Amy. I'll sort of cut to the chase. I do want to mention the finale of the show, which made a lot of people mad, because it ends on a cliffhanger, sort of not knowing what happens to our heroes, but it actually goes down with them swinging, against the oncoming apocalypse, which I think is a real, it's the mission statement of the show, which they kept saying was fight the good fight. And I honestly don't think you could ask for a better ending for this show. I think it's utterly brilliant that you kind of don't know what comes after that. So yeah, those are my shows, and I love all of them so much. I'm not going to choose like where my heart lies between them, because I think they each represent like a different sort of phase of my standing and and fanboying. So okay.
Yeah. Get ready. I picked Charmed, Degrassi the Next Generation, and Tru Blood. We're going to talk about vampires. Honorable mentions, Vampire Diaries, and my CW love in general. I had to throw an anime in there, so I picked Naruto, and then Misfits, a UK show. Boy, let's start with Charmed, aka I hope you're still in the chat, girl, because we're about to talk some Charmed. I have a little show and tell. This is a necklace with the power of 3 symbol that they use for they put on the Book of Shadows. Basically, there are 3 sisters. They're witches. When they're together, they have the power of the 3, and they're like super, super powerful. And I know AK is a fan of Prue, who was the oldest sister, and in seasons 1 through 3. And then after that, Rose McGowan took over, and she was the youngest sister, so she replaced Prue, who was played by Shannon Doherty. So Rose McGowan then acted as the 3rd sister in seasons 4 until the end of the show. Alyssa Milano. I mean, my God. I'll just start with that. Watch the show because of Alyssa Milano. She is beautiful in every shot. She acts amazingly in everything. And she's kind of depowered compared to her sisters, but she really holds her own. She's also does martial arts. And then you've got to the very right, if you're looking at the picture on the screen on YouTube, that is Holly Marie Combs playing Piper. They are all the Halliwell sisters. They're all witches. Their line goes back to Salem. It's really great. So they live together in San Francisco and they fight demons. It's awesome.
Can I just say, like, I didn't even watch this show, and I was very aware of Alyssa Milano on Charm.
How could you not? How could you not? I mean, that's the thing. And I was always stand Rose McGowan, but at the same time, Alyssa Milano was just a banger in every episode. And I don't even know where to start. But the point is that for me, Charmed, I watched it when I was getting ready for school during my, when it was on TNT in the mornings during my middle school and high school years. So this is very, very thoroughly my teen show. It is the number 1 for me out of all of these shows, even more than Degrassi Next Generation. I know you're very surprised to hear. Charmed was my shiz, and it still is. And you know what? I put this picture up here because obviously I also watched it for the plot. For the plot. These women, strong women, but also very, very good looking and very in shape women. So, you know.
Amy, all the stuff we really enjoy is for the plot.
Yes, definitely.
I think you would agree.
And I like in this picture where they're dressed as Valkyries in this episode, and Alyssa Milano is in the middle, and she's rocking that short hairstyle. She literally doesn't have a bad hairstyle in this whole show, and I don't understand how. Also liked Rose McGowan as a redhead in season 5. So, you know. She is brunette in a lot of the other seasons. Here's a picture of her as brunette. I believe this would be around season, I want to say 7. But yeah, they're obviously all cute when they're brunette because they're sisters. They got the brown hair and the brown eyes. Piper owns a club and is a cook. Alyssa Milano, like I said, she is a Vice columnist and a kind of a public personality, and she does martial arts. Paige is a social worker who was adopted because their mother basically had to give her up because the father was their white lighter, aka a witch's guardian angel, and that was not allowed by the elders who are like the guys in charge upstairs. And unfortunately, it is mostly guys. They do have female elders, but it's very much a patriarchy drink.
I just want to say, like, I haven't seen the show, but I did pick up the remastered Blu-ray set, which I'm going to watch at some point. And
yay, Charm! Yeah, and AK is mentioning, you know, that the actors, the sisters, they definitely did not like the way that the show sexualized them, and I totally get that. As a kid, you know, I tended to, of course, I recognize that they're all beautiful beings, but as a kid, you know, what I really appreciated out of it was the very, very strong female leads and the fact that it was about their sisterhood and it was about mourning and loss as well as working hard and celebrating the good times. And yeah, P3 was the club, like Jolie puts, that they would all hang out at, and that's where a lot of stuff happened. So I'll just say really quickly what their powers are in case you're interested. So we got Prue, the older sister. She got telekinesis, move things. They can all do spells, but active powers. Prue, the oldest sister, could make things move with her mind. Piper, freeze time, and then eventually freeze things like people, and except for witches. And she could also make things explode with her hands. It's really great.
I just want to say about this. I checked out the picture quality on it. It's actually quite gorgeous.
Oh,
they did a much better job than they did with Buffy, which I will say, like, as far as Buffy goes, You guys, if you want to watch it, you need to track down the DVDs because the online streaming versions are atrocious.
And if you add physical media on your bingo card, that counts. Now, then we have Alyssa Milano's character, Phoebe. Like I said, martial arts, that's just training, but she can levitate. She has premonitions, meaning she can see the future, sometimes the past, touching things and people. I mean, touching people like consensually, not like that. And she, I believe, also gets this like empath power later in the seasons. And it's a little bit like, cause plot, they need to make her stronger. So she can all of a sudden deflect fireballs by feeling them. That was a little tenuous Charmed. And then we have the youngest sister, Paige Matthews, who has a different last name because she was adopted. And that is played by Rose McGowan. And she can move things with her mind, but by orbing it, which is the white lighter thing, because she's half white lighter, and she can orb, which means she can basically teleport. Please watch Charmed. It's amazing. I was obsessed with it for so long. I could talk about it for hours. So let's move on. Do we want to talk vampires? Because I have Tru Blood and Vampire Diaries on there. Lo, how about you? Have you seen either?
I saw almost all of Vampire Diaries. And I watched like one season of Tru Blood, and also very much for the plot.
Yes, absolutely for that plot. What I really liked about the Vampire Diaries is Nina Dobrev. She's also in Degrassi, and she is my ideal everything. I really, really like everything she has going on, her acting, her look, all of that. I'm trying to find my picture for Vampire Diaries. It's like I'm scrolling and I can't find it. It's really annoying. But Tru Blood was actually, I was technically more obsessed with Tru Blood, which was on HBO. But the Vampire Diaries was on the CW, and it started my CW obsession. But I will just say, shout out to Tru Blood for HBO, because, man, they had me for years. I just kept watching. Anna Paquin. Yeah, sure. Please. Okay, so you remember then the classic, she's stuck between two guys, right? There's Eric, and then there's, the Southern vampire goes, Suki! I'm totally blanking on his name. Yeah, there are the two guys she's stuck in between. So Eric is the one on the lighter hair guy, and then the guy on the right is the other quote-unquote love interest.
Yeah, and just because it's like part of my brand, I have to teach everyone that technically Eric's actor's name, you say Alexander Skarsgård.
Not Skarsgård. Okay.
Because O, the A with the circle, is a separate letter from A. It's like, I know I compared, I go on rants about this every now and then.
Guys, his name is Bill. It's been a long time since I've watched it. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, it like comparing A to O, it's like saying that would be the same letter is like saying that M and N would be the same, because they're like sort of looking the same.
Yeah, and shout out to Lafayette too. Amazing character.
Love him. Love.
He was a lot of the reason that I watched. Definitely.
That scene when he works at the like diner and someone says they don't want the burger, and because they racist assholes, and like homophobic racist assholes, and then he spits on it and serves it to them. Just
how about yeah. He's basically the cook at the diner that then Suki waitress is at. So yeah. That's I've always, so this like of the three that I picked, this would have been number 3, but because of my vampire phase, I really had to highlight Tru Blood. I remember actually ordering the Tru Blood drink that you could get, drinking it with my friend Nishan. So the Tru Blood is basically synthetic blood that they were giving to vampires so that they wouldn't have to harm humans. So yeah, I really liked the premise of it. I kind of liked that it had that Southern feel too. I believe it took place in Louisiana. So that I really enjoyed that. But I will say, Lo, you've seen all of Vampire Diaries, so let's switch there then and just keep going on this vampire train, because Nina Dobrev, first of all, is everything. Second of all, Once again, caught between two guys. Can we get more creative people? Just saying.
Okay, but which team are you then?
Okay, I don't remember. Everyone knows how I am about character names if I haven't watched something in a while. I like the guy on the right rather than the guy on the left.
Yes, correct. Good.
Lo is like, we can still be friends. So can you help me with the character names, Lo?
His name is Damon, right?
Yes, Damon.
And
then,
Stefan.
And Stefan, yeah. I'm a Damon girl myself.
Yeah, good. Good.
Those are the chat, David. Oh, okay. Aaron is going Polly. Porque no los dos. Damon and Stefan. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I recognize Boone. Sorry, lost reference. Apologies.
I watched so much Vampire Diaries. It was my first was counting down till the day it happened on the CW show, like what I'm doing with Kung Fu, The Flash, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Batwoman right now. Like I said, I watch a lot of the CW. It was the beginning of my CW phase. I got, there was obviously Supernatural. I was very obsessed with all of the witchy shows that they put. They had one called The Circle or Circle. Only got a couple seasons. The CW can get cancel happy. They can also get renew happy, like with Arrow. Did not need the last 3 seasons, just saying. So they do a lot of DC stuff now, but they were doing a lot of the dramas before, and they definitely, CW definitely picked up on this vampire obsession that was going on. And they cast Nina Dobrev, and so I was already in, and because I had seen her from Degrassi. And I knew she was talented, and I wanted her to have a very, very central main role in something. And then there she was in a vampire show. And she also kind of had this basically this vampire who looked like her. So she also was acting multiple parts, kind of like in Orphan Black. Tatiana does really well in that. I really like that when you can see an actor play multiple roles. That's really great. We see that. Obviously, we talked about X2 with Mystique. She shapeshifts. And so they often have the actor who's playing Mystique as them, it's interesting to see the difference in mannerisms and such. Anyway, I also liked Orphan Black, almost made my list. So I am going to move on to Degrassi. And so you just get ready, everyone. That's all I have to say. I am talking about the next generation, but I do like Degrassi Junior High from the 80s. A lot of things are iconic, like Shane McKay ODing on acid. It did deal with teenage pregnancy, slightly with queer, with Caitlin Ryan and Degrassi Junior High. They did not go far enough, but it was the 80s. At least they tried. It was also Canada, so slightly more progressive there. But let's talk about Degrassi Next Generation. So this is, yes, a high school Canadian teen drama. I have an episode of it on my podcast with once again, Jen from Lisa and Jingo, Canadian 8. We talked about our favorite Degrassi couples. It is a very pro-ship show, and I'm not really a shipper, but Degrassi literally hands them to you on a platter. So the Degrassi fandom is full of a lot of couples names, like Gibberty, which is a very famous couple, which is JT and Liberty together, and which is one of the examples of TV's interracial, especially Canada's increased show of interracial couples, which was really important to me at the time. And Liberty struggles with teenage pregnancy and has to give up her baby for adoption. JT, spoiler alert, John will never watch this, so I'm good, gets stabbed. It's a very, very sad show. It can also be quirky and happy. For example, Paige and Alex. Palix, one of my favorite ships in the whole world. You got Paige, brunette, hot, wrong girl from the tracks. Sorry, that was Alex. Yeah, and then Paige, the blonde, the cheerleader. She thinks she's straight, but no, she's actually could be bi. It's great. So Alex is Paige's first crush and first girlfriend, and it is the cutest thing in the whole world. And their scarf game is on point in this picture, so I just wanted to put that up. But yeah, Paige and Alex were probably one of my favorite things to happen on Degrassi. I thought that was great. Another great, in this case, lesbian relationship. So another one, Alex is lesbian and Paige is bisexual. In this case, I would say Imogen, the one on the right, she is pansexual, I would say. And then on the left, Fiona, who is up against the lockers. In this picture, she is a lesbian, and Fiona is also this rich girl from New York. Imogen is this real quirky kind of theater girl. It's really, really cute couple, and one of the best examples of a slightly codependent, but I would say more often than not, healthy relationship between two women. Also, trans. This is Adam to the left. Adam was born Gracie, and now is Adam. And to the right, there is Becky, and they kind of went with, she's like the cheerful girl. She was raised very strict Christian, but she found herself attracted to Adam and dated him, even though her parents were against it. And she recognized him that she was heterosexual and that Adam is now a man and is a man. And that's all that mattered to her. And she loved Adam. And it was a very, very sweet relationship. So it was nice to see that. Of course, they had issues and there was a little dysfunctional, but I really appreciated that. And it also had Bianca D'Souza, who I watched for the plot, as you can see from this picture. Anyway, she was with Drew, who she was way too good for. There are a lot of shipping you could do. Spinner and Jane, also one of my favorite ships. Most people like him better with Darcy or like the 5 other girls he dated throughout the show. I don't know. Spinner grew on me. I love that. Yeah, the scarves are really good. So yeah, apparently Kate watched back in the day. There are 14 seasons and there are 4 more seasons of Next Class, and then Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High altogether is like 5 seasons. It's a commitment. But Degrassi is a way of life. That's what I say. And I joke with my partner when I say I'm going to watch Degrassi. We joke and say I'm going to watch Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, we have fun with it. But here's a shot from season 5. Some really iconic characters there. There on the very left is Emma. She's blonde. And her mother, who goes by Spike, whose real name is Christine, was a character from Degrassi Junior High and got pregnant in the show. And you see Emma as a baby. And now here she is going to high school in the same place. It's really cute. This is the much, much later generation. This is Degrassi Next Class. This is going to be the Gen Z Degrassi. And so I liked it, but not as much as the millennial Degrassi, obviously, because I'm a millennial. But I appreciated a lot of the characters there, particularly Zoe Rivas and also Esme Song, who is a Chinese-Canadian character there. I also like Winston Chu, who's on the very bottom, kind of with the green pants. It got better about representation and questions about like internet and privacy, because obviously social media and everything is going to be a huger thing. Yes, Spike, a different Spike from Buffy. Spike, because she had this crazy punk hair in the 80s. Alicia Kingston's right. Especially the later parts of Degrassi look a little bit High School Musical. Here's my last Degrassi shot, and then I promise I'll shut up about it. This one looks kind of terribly edited because you could tell that they took different pictures of the characters and smashed them together. But there's another picture of some Degrassi, the Next Generation stuff. Look, I talked about this a lot on another episode, so I'm not going to ramble on. But let's just say Degrassi is important to me. I still put it on the background while I'm studying. I love it so much. I can quote full episodes. It's definitely an obsession. So, yeah. So that is Degrassi. Where even am I? Let me see. I talked about my main 3-1, talked a little bit about Vampire Diaries. I will just say quickly about anime. I was a weeaboo, not an otaku. I was the most annoying type of anime fan. But yeah, a lot of Bleach, Fullmetal Alchemist, Naruto. I watched a crap ton of anime, so that was really important to me growing up. And also Attack on Titan, also Misfits, the UK show. I don't know if anyone has seen it, but I really, really enjoy that. Basically, like, juvenile delinquents are given powers. It's a really, really great show. It's really funny. And of course, it has there the actor who then would go on to be in many iconic roles, including, the very, very forefront guy there. He plays Klaus in Umbrella Academy. And this is where I first saw him. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. This is where I first saw him, was in Misfits. Has a lot of great characters. Also, you'll notice a certain Ramsay Bolton. No, Ramsay Snow there in the background. He doesn't deserve that name. Well, Bolton's stupid anyway. He is.
I would say he actually rather does deserve.
He is an awkward kid who can turn invisible in this, so he is very different from Ramsay there. There's really great iconic characters, really funny scenes. Their probation worker keeps getting killed. It's really funny. It's a really great show. It's kind of those that has a lot of great running themes and jokes. And Misfits, to this day, I have the theme song on my iTunes, and I'll just play it now and then. I really, really love Misfits. It's one of the few UK shows that made it to me other than Doctor Who. I am not an Anglophile when it comes to my viewing, so it takes a lot to get me to watch a UK show. But I would say Misfits and Doctor Who, my jam. So I think, my God, did I talk about everything? Please tell me I did. Yay. Okay. All right, let's wrap this up.
I'm actually really impressed because we're close to the 2-hour mark. I actually, I was thinking about this before. I was like, is this going to go on for like 3 hours?
I'm trying to not be like Cinematic Realms and go too far over 2 hours, J-Dubs. So
where's the fun in that?
I haven't done anything for my class tomorrow. That's where the non-fun is. And I also have a date night tonight, and I know how I am about when I make a promise, I have to see it through. So I got lots to do, people to see. I know Lowe's over there in grad school. Lowe, the thesis, how is it going?
Oh God, why would you ask me that? I have my deadline in 11 days.
Lo, thank you so much for doing this. I had no idea. You should have told me that, and I wouldn't have asked.
No. It's totally fine.
I saw that you credited quite a few people in the ASWAF community, and that was so sweet of you to also mention me.
Yes. Yes, I worked on my acknowledgements the other day, and just hugs to everyone here in the chat, and everyone who's not here as well, for getting me through this. But soon I'm done.
All the support, sending it to Sweden.
Yes, I'm handing in the final-ish draft on the 21st, and then I'm defending it on the 28th, and then I have another week to fix all the mistakes. So
writing is rewriting. So
yes, soon it's gonna be done, and then I'm gonna have more time to write essays for fun. And thank you, AJ.
Yeah, that's why none of my essays have been touched, because I'm not writing essays for fun for my classes, and it's really hard. Lo, you're really prolific. I envy you. Once I started doing more podcasting and such, wow, my essays just took a dive. That's why I'm excited for those Linksfire essays, because I am technically a blogger still.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to stuff when I've handed this in, and also if anyone wants to read that, let me know and I'll send you a link. I know I've already promised that to some people, but yeah, it's about non-binary people and navigating the world as a non-binary person, which I think some might find interesting, but also it's very academic, so if that's not your thing, totally get that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be on some fandom stuff soon, though. I can't really tell you all about it, but I'm gonna have some guest performances in several places. So that's going to be fun.
And whoever they are lucky to have you, Lo, and so am I. And so is everyone in the chat and in the whole fandom. And all the good vibes. I know it's, we say wish you good luck, but I know when it's this stuff, it's all hard work, perseverance, and 2 ticky pets. And I get that. And yay for you, Lo.
Yes, thank you.
And please follow Lo on Twitter. They are a very fun follow, because 2 ticky hella killed a plant today.
Look, I just have to say that there are no hard evidence before anyone comes.
There were no witnesses.
There were no witnesses. I was in the bedroom. I heard a crash. When I came in, the plant was on the floor and the cat was on the armchair looking all innocent.
Totally innocent.
So just before anyone comes for me, I didn't accuse her of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's cute. There's a lot of picture of her on my
innocent
Twitter.
Until proven guilty.
I think a full investigation is warranted.
I think so too. All right. Yes. So thank you so much to everyone and everyone in the chat for being all nostalgic about your shows from the teen years. If you're listening to this / watching this afterwards, tweet at me, comment in YouTube, somehow get my attention. What were the shows that defined your teen years and why? And I want to thank all of my guests, Micah and Yoki, who had to go for different reasons. But I thank my 2 guests, especially, who were able to stay. Low the links, and J-Dubs, all the links will be in the description. Seriously, everyone on this panel is an amazing content creator. They deserve your support. And by that, I don't just mean watching things. You have to subscribe, do all the things. I know you hear it all the time, but literally there is an algorithm that lets us know if we're worthy, and you have to tell it that we're worthy. like with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts for Cinematic Realms with J-Dubs and I. And he also did a stream on John Webster Film, his YouTube channel, with Christina and Uncle Bryro, aka Brian, aka Mr. Lady Triple. And they had a blast talking about something that I'm really not prepared to even get ready for. And I love that John had that much fun. So please check that out if you are a Bad Batch fan. And as Christina said, she's a bad bitch watching Bad Batch. So check out Lady Triple on Twitter. She'll let you know. She's also got a lot of great Avatar: Last Airbender thoughts that I've had her on my channel to talk about Avatar: Last Airbender. Gonna have her on in the future to talk about Korra, Avatar: Last Airbender, and the Kyoshi novels, which she is insisting I read. And you know what? People have read Poppy War for me, so I need to be a good friend and return that and read the books that my friends tell me to read as I can get through them. So yes, everyone's links are in the description. Once again, thank you so much to my guests. I'm having a great birthday month, everyone, and I can't wait for my special birthday episode on Cinematic Realms where I will be talking about the Mulan animated Disney movie. I will break out into song every 15 minutes. So if you're a Mulan fan, you don't want to skip that one.
I'm actually really looking forward to rewatching it too, because I did tell you I recently looked at it on Disney Plus and they upgraded it to a 4K version, and it looked so
what
beautiful.
Do we want? 4K worth fighting for. Exactly. I love it. I'm here for it. He wants that 4K paler than the moon with eyes that shine like stars. Okay, I have to stop. That's because you're going to get definitely over 2 hours of that for my birthday episode on Cinematic Realms with J-Dubs.
Yeah, we see how it is, Amy.
Okay, I swear I'm ending. Thank you, everyone. Please continue to support all of my guests and myself. Thank you, everyone, to those in the live chat. I know it was Euro-friendly time, so not everyone could make it. I appreciate those that could and those that popped in while they were at work. Thank you so much, everyone. And we will see you next time. I will say, just uploaded as a bonus episode, the BTP, Bleep It Y'all episode with my mother for Mother's Day. So if you want to hear Mama Blackfire, check out that. If you want to see it in the video version, check out Nessie's The Unspun Yarn. Seriously, give my mom all the love, and mothers everywhere. And I understand this is also a difficult time for some people if they have issues with fertility or issues with their relationship with their mother, and you are valid and your experiences are valid. That being said, I love my mother and I really enjoyed posting things about her, and I'm going to take her out to Fancy Tea next month to make up for it when she is in Chicago with me. So I'm very, very excited for that. All right. Plugs, I swear, are over. Thank you so much, everyone. And we will see you next time.
Bye.